feel like we're always being tested, in one way or another, physically,
Mm.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And we just have a decision
Yeah,
like, are we going to cower down or are we going to level up? And I think that
yeah,
doing things that are hard, the early morning wake up, making sure you're disciplined with what you eat, reading,
hmm
directing your life in a way where you can be your best self, but so you can give that person away, right? And as you do that, you can
yeah.
serve others, you help them, and the knowledge that you have, you can serve others. And so I enjoy, that's the messaging that I enjoy. I think it's helped me. That's what I share with my, that's why people stay, I think, with me and my team.
Yeah.
And I think it's a mentality of service. It's a mentality of giving your best. And I think when you do that, you're always going to be successful.
Welcome back to the Massive Passive Cash Flow Podcast. I'm Gary Wilson, your host. I'm so glad to have you back listening to the show or watching if that's what you're doing. We have an excellent guest today, Justin Udy from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. So without going into a lot of details, I'm going to let you guys hear from him directly. So first off, Justin, thanks for joining us. I love the conversation we've been having. You and I are definitely we've got the same genes flowing through our blood, and I really appreciate having you on. I know you're busy, so I was just grateful. So thank you for being here.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. Love being here. I love having like these conversations about building your life, building your business, building a better you. I mean, it's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, you got it. I mean, I like the fact that you're not just a one trick pony. You do have a team. You're producing. You've got commission income coming in. You're investing, but more importantly, you're serving a higher purpose by giving to others. Every day. You come from contribution, and you help other people. Get to their next level, their next step, and see a way, especially if they're in real estate, that they can actually retire, not have to work till they're 80 or something years old. So let's start at the beginning. Everybody's always interested in finding out, what brought you into this industry? Was it something like you were working in another industry and then you decided to invest in a duplex and that got you started, or even the sale or purchase of your own home? Kind of take us to that nexus there. Let's go from there.
Oh, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
it was funny because I went to the University of Utah. I was
Mhm.
finishing my degree. I got a degree in marketing. I was going to my last class, and one of my best friends called me and said, "Hey, I've got an opportunity. You can make as much as you want or as little as you want. You just have to work." And I said, "Great." And I was working at American Express at the time. They had a tuition reimbursement program that paid for all my tuition. So I was graduating, and I actually got into loans. And so
Mhm.
every penny, like why most agents and most people were getting that, this is kind of that 2000 era where I remember somebody screaming out of their office, rates are below 6%, it's a refi boom,
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was actually below 7% is what it was. My heavens, it was below 7% at the time. Anyway,
Mhm.
while they were, doing all the crazy stuff that loan officers and sometimes the world of real estate does, I was saving the money and I was actually buying properties. And
Yeah.
a lot of the properties in the beginning I was buying and I was renovating, and it was very good for me to understand the sticks, the bricks. And then I got that very first property, and then I got another property, and then from there it grew. I've always said I'm an investor first, and then I was a salesperson, but I do believe you have to create a business that has no ceiling and then take that money and put it into real estate. And so I've always operated that way. I was individually producing about 50 deals a year on my own. That's when, I'll be honest,
Mhm.
kind of got the wheels kind of came off a little bit.
Mhm.
Coincidentally, a guy that I cold called responded to a Facebook ad. He was my first buyer's agent. He closed
Okay.
27 deals his first year. But we went from like
Nice.
101 transactions to like 126 to 150 to over 200. And,
Mhm.
again, it really became busy. But I'd closed, 97 deals on my own, and the team had closed like 150. So I had a high level of understanding how to close deals. But I
Mhm.
always was like, we have to take that money and put it in places, because whenever there was hard
Yeah.
times, whenever anything was going on, the rentals, the cash flow always
Mhm.
came back. And I was working with builders, I was working on commercial real estate, but there was always
Mhm.
a little bit of a gap where I was like, I
Yeah.
know this, but it's like there were certain little things I didn't know what I didn't know. And it was
Mhm.
at that point that I said, I made the decision to go back and get a master's in real estate development. And I don't
Mhm.
recommend that maybe for everybody. There's CCIM classes, there's other
Mhm.
things you can do. But for me, we were doing over 200 deals a year. I needed to physically get out of the office, go to a place where I could network, work on things, and again, take this thing and like put it away. Because
Yeah.
you know how it is. I mean, it'll always distract you, but it really sharpened my skills to do pro formas, look at things differently. It gave me the ability to just, I worked with a lot of bigger transactions just because I felt more comfortable, but I had peers, so I always will say, like,
Yeah.
get in a room with other people that help you think bigger. It really helped me, again, just elevate my game from maybe some smaller units into some bigger projects.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds awfully familiar to me. I was investing in early too. My college roommate, his name was Socrates. His dad was a big investor in Richmond, Virginia, and when we graduated, he made sure we didn't rent. He said, "No, you guys are going to buy a house. You're going to rent it out and start making money right away." And I'm just green as I get. I'm like, "Okay, sure, let's do that." My mom was scared. She was like, "You're going to do what? You're not even you haven't even earned a paycheck yet." And by the way, within my first month of earning two paychecks, the first one in business, Sock and I bought that first house. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom rancher. But in any case, the rest, you say, is history. But the thing I like about what you're doing is this is a really valuable lesson. I've been blessed enough to meet Robert Kiyosaki personally and had to spend the day with him at dinner. And one of his critical lessons is don't go out and buy the doodad. Don't go buy the nice car. Buy the house that's going to generate cash flow and appreciation, and let the cash flow from the house buy the car. So I've taught my kids that when they were growing up, it was funny. My wife would say, "Well, let's go to Mexico this year. Let's do Disney World again." And my son would say, "Dad's got to buy a house first." So but it's and the thing is, it's not like really harsh discipline. It's just good sense, horse sense. When you think about it. I mean, my gosh, use what you've got. Keep the principle. Never touch principle. Keep adding on. Keep growing. Keep building cash flow. So moving forward, did you develop a set of like a routine you follow daily habits? Like, what are your daily habits? How do you start your day?
Yeah.
And this is, I think, where some real gold's going to come out. We can
Oh,
really
for
help some
sure.
people.
So if anybody
Yeah.
ever follows me on Instagram, I mean, I document this for me to keep myself
Hmm.
accountable, but I count my team's accountable, right? And there's some guys that I
Hmm.
coach that I tell them the same thing because it's worked for me. So I say, look, follow this, and I promise you, it will make your life different, right? So I get up at
Yeah.
4:40 every single day. I make sure that I get up. I get everything ready so that I can go to the gym. I read
Mhm.
something inspiring, right? For me, I want to
Mhm.
make sure I will always recommend read 10 pages a day, but sometimes do it at night when you want to go to sleep. But every morning, at least read something that's going to be inspiring that I can take with me to move forward, right? It's going to be something
Yeah.
maybe from a stoic. It's going to be somebody that has some good information. It's going to be mindset, skill set, and
Yeah.
disciplines, in the end.
Yeah.
I do a very strong workout schedule every single day. I do track. I make sure I'm like, hey, I want to track my food so that I'm lean.
Mhm.
I want to make sure I feel good and I look good. We just
Mhm.
barely came back from Costa Rica, and it's nice to be able to be like
Nice.
have abs next to the kids that are like 19. And
Yeah.
and then just again work on your skill set, work on your business every single day. But remove the vices, remove the things that are going to deter you, put you in a low frequency, right? Because if you get up early, you feed your mind, body, and your soul. You are going to be operating at a high frequency. You'll find
Mhm.
that like during that time frame,
Mhm.
things will come to you, people to call, things to work on, how to respond to maybe a deal that's going bad. But it's just because
Mhm.
you've taken yourself to a completely different level. And so I'll always
Mhm.
be like typing on my phone, like, oh, you know what, this is what I got to do. And there's
Mhm.
deals that I've found because I just was at a different state, a different
Mhm.
kind of just problem solving state, and my eyes were just more open. And so I just know when you do those things every day, you operate differently, you think differently.
Yeah.
What's more important? Not only are you proud of yourself, but the
Mhm.
people that look at you and meet with you, they're like, there is just something different. They're just operating at a different level. And so you
Right.
find more business, you get more opportunities. And then again, it compounds, right? And so
Yeah.
it's the person that you build, and it's not what you do every day it's not what you do every hour, every day, but as you do it every day, it
Mhm.
compounds and you just start seeing these crazy
Yes.
successes. And you've seen that with the people you've interviewed. It's just like they started here, but they just continued to level up. And I just feel like we're always being tested, in one way or another, physically,
Mhm.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And we just have a decision
Yeah.
like, are we going to cower down or are we going to level up? And I think that
Yeah.
doing things that are hard, the early morning wake up, making sure you're disciplined with what you eat, reading,
Hmm.
directing your life in a way where you can be your best self, but so you can give that person away, right? And as you do that, you can
Yeah.
serve others, you help them, and the knowledge that you have, you can serve others. And so I enjoy that's the messaging that I enjoy. I think that's helped me. That's what I share with my. That's why people stay, I think, with me and my team.
Yeah.
And I think it's a mentality of service. It's a mentality of giving your best. And I think when you do that, you're always going to be successful.
Did you know that you can participate in class every Monday? We call it Monday Night Live, 7 p.m. Eastern, with me and dozens of other investor agents from around the country, in fact, the world. Every Monday, totally free. No selling, no recruiting, just straight up education on anything and everything in real estate. And we have a lot of good guests coming on once or twice a month, bringing in expertise on subjects like how to buy a house with crypto. Okay. How about them apples? What about AI? How's AI affecting our business? How about the metaverse, blockchain processing? We're already using it in title work. So come on to Monday Night Live. Be ready to take notes and ask questions because it's live and engaging, and you get to participate by asking questions and meeting others. So we'll see you there. Go to GaryRealEstateWithGaryWilson.com. Click on the resource tab, drop down, and you'll see Monday Night Live. And in there, you can see one of the most recent classes. But more importantly, you can register for class as many as you want going up to like the end of the year, I believe. So in any case, do that. We'll see you on Monday Night Live. Look forward to meeting you in person. Take care. Yeah, I agree 100%. It really isn't just a matter of like, it's not compartmentalized. It's not just that you have greater, strength or muscular energy. You don't just have greater mental energy. You don't just have greater emotional energy. It's energy in general. It's a higher form of energy, and and actually it can be measured. In fact, I call it spiritual energy. When you are really operating, if you look at the old Maslow's triangle, the scale at the very top is self-actualization, and we can call it whatever we want, but the fact is in terms of communication, like what you can understand people, that common consciousness, you're really tapped into that, and that's where the real magic happens, because you don't have to think too hard and go and search for answers. The answers are already there. Everything we want to know in the world is actually already out there. We just have to go seek it. And when you're at peak performance, guys, everybody listening, this is extremely important. In fact, what Justin was just discussing, I'm telling you, and I'm going to vouch for this because I lived that life myself. It is far more important for you to learn that and develop those habits than it is for you to read a book on how to buy a duplex. There's, I have this, one of my playlists on my YouTube channel, Justin. I call it the book recommendations. And all I'm doing is going back into Amazon. I'm going backwards. I'm back to year 2009 now. And I ordered over 100 books that year, so and I don't read that as much as I used to, but I do read every day, every two
Yeah.
subjects. One is personal development, and one is for pleasure. I like reading nonfiction, like I'm reading a book now about traveling Europe. But in any
Wow.
case, it allows you to have a richer life when you meet people. You can have richer conversations. People will warm up to you more easily because they realize you're not just a transaction agent. You're a relationship person. You're building relationships, and people feel like they're connecting with you. They don't even understand it. That's that spiritual energy I was describing. So moving forward, I guess you're in Salt Lake City, which is one of my favorite areas. I've been out there a couple of times, sometimes just traveling for fun, sometimes going from, Canada, like on Toronto, Canada, down to San Diego. And I like to drive because I want to see the country. And I'll make phone
Right.
calls while I'm driving, and I'll stop and see the sights. But other times I was there teaching. And for people who don't know, guys, I'm gonna let Justin take it from here. But I just want to tell you, if you have not looked in Utah, specifically the Salt Lake City Metroplex area, it includes its number of communities, you're missing a real golden gem. So what can you tell us, Justin, about the Salt Lake City Metroplex? There's plenty of room. It looks like there's plenty of room to grow
Yeah.
out there. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I'll never get ever anybody into anything that I haven't purchased myself, right? I think that's really important, So I own commercial property. That has restaurants in it. We've got multifamily. We even got single family homes that I personally own. We have projects that we're going to tear down a 6 unit and a 4 unit and build 40 units in one project and 30 units in another. So just know, like, these types of things, like if the agent you work with, and this isn't a plug for me, I'm just saying, when
Hmm.
you work with anybody, you want to work with somebody that's doing what you want to be doing. And
Hmm.
frankly, that they're producing that, just like you were mentioning, they're in alignment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're in alignment mentally, physically, spiritually. They want to assist you because that's just who they are. And I think
Right.
that's a really good recommendation in general. But
Hmm.
as far as the Salt Lake market, I will find that we do have very good capitalization rates, meaning the rate of return is a good rate of return. There is opportunity because we are a place where we have grown significantly. Coincidentally, we have more now in migration. This was the very first year, more people coming into the state than people that were actually leaving. And so,
Nice.
and from out of state, because people are just saying, man,
Hmm.
this is a great place. So we're seeing demand significantly go up. Right now, with interest rates being where they're at, we've seen almost like a little bit of a slow pace of building. And so for
Hmm.
me personally, in the last 90 days, I've purchased 3 properties. And again,
Hmm.
some people are like, man, like it's like we're not even seeing activity, but I just know on the horizon, we are going to see higher activity in values, rent
Hmm.
rates, and frankly, predictable income. And so
Yeah.
just know when I'm looking at our market and I see that urban sprawl happening, there is opportunities out there. I do think you have to look at them right. I think one of the biggest challenges that I run into, and this is, I think, any place in the United States or any market, but they don't know how to find them. They
Hmm.
don't properly evaluate them, and they do not have an exit strategy. So one of
Hmm.
the things I just recommend is you're looking in the market, make sure the
Hmm.
agent you work with is helping you understand, like, what is that property? What is the
Hmm.
supply and demand happening? What is the absorption rates? What are the rent rates? Is it a value add opportunity? And just have them look at the normal stuff. Like, that's the thing, is like, what's the zoning? What's the access? Where's the topography? Are the utilities
Hmm.
there? Is there a market? Like, what is the market value, but also where can we had a lady that came, it was San Francisco. We did a 1031. And I will tell you, it was one of those projects, and it was just a small little 8 unit project. And she was just like, man, this needs so much work, and it's this and that. And she's like, I'm out. And I said, I respect what you're saying. And I said, just, if you're out, I would like to purchase the property myself. But
Hmm.
these are the things that we discussed. And I went through the numbers. She
Hmm.
said, that's just crazy. She's like, you want to buy it? And I was like, I'm going to buy it because it's a good deal, but it's because of
Hmm.
reasons. Like, well, I'd prefer you purchase it. Sure
Hmm.
enough, she just said, okay, let me go back. She ended up purchasing it. We ended up buying 2 different properties. The one she wanted, that she was emotionally attached to, that I'm like, look, if we're going to buy
Hmm.
this, let's do this, this, and this. And then one that I was essentially saying, this is the good deal. Now she
Hmm.
loves this one, and she sees this one. She's like, man, let's just get rid of this thing. I don't even know why I would have purchased it. I'm like, well, but we kind of knew it was going to be a bit of an issue, but we ran the numbers. You were okay with it. But now you're finding there's such opportunity in other deals as opposed to the
Right.
others. And sometimes you just learn your lesson. So have
Yeah.
them comprehensive, have them look at it. But again, locally, I do love our market. I think it's great. Sometimes, we just came back from Costa Rica, so I have to be like you and go to the ocean, because it does get
Yeah.
cold here, in the winter
Oh
time.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we do great skiing, and I have a season pass, so I'll go up when I can. And there's
Hmm.
some great commercial markets as far as due to the amount of recreation
Hmm.
that's here, as well as local market demand for labor, materials, stuff like that. People
Yeah.
work hard. People tend to stay. There is good values here. So
Yeah.
overall, it's a nice market, and I see myself staying here, other than
Hmm.
just maybe traveling a little bit. So good market.
Yeah. It is, and I really do. I want to emphasize the fact that it's such a great outdoor activity place to be, because you've got
Yeah,
some of the greatest skiing in the world there. In
yeah,
Park City. I mean, there's, I think, 4 resorts. Like, you look out your hotel window and see 4 different resorts. It's crazy, but all the hiking, biking. I mean, kayaking, whitewater rifts. I mean, it's just so much to do. And it's sunnier more days of the year. I mean, a lot more days of the year than days it's not sunny. It's actually very temperate. It's not like, if you go way up north, like into in Montana and the Dakotas, guys, it gets really, really cold there for a long period of time. It's darker too in the winter. Where you are, you get a lot more sunshine, So, um,
Totally.
yeah. Now on the team,
Yeah.
you've got a small team, but it sounds like you got some really good. It's like if everybody serves a role, everybody produces. You don't really have like a lot of like my team. Admittedly will tell you, I bring in new people because I had this love for training new people. They don't all make it. So a lot of times I'm working for free, but the value is in the people that do make it. It's just shining examples. And so in your team, do you have other people like you that you brought in and help them see the value of not just developing those daily habits, but also learning the art and science of investing some of their hard-earned money in, like you did, and also in investment real estate? Yeah, do most of your people do that, or some of them, or what's the
Yeah.
mixture? Tell
So,
us
so
about your
for
team. Yeah.
example, like, one of my agents, he's been with me for 10 years. He started when he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
He has now multiple investment properties locally and out of
Mm-hmm.
state. And again, it's the same message that I'm going to just share with everybody. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
get into a business. First, operate yourself so you're proud of yourself, right? Just be happy with yourself. No matter what money or income ever comes, if you're not proud of yourself, none of that stuff's going to help you, right? Wake
Yeah.
up early, read, reflect, eliminate vices, track your food so you just feel
Yeah.
good physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're going to
Yeah.
be operating better than frankly 99% of the people out there, right?
Yeah.
Then as you're operating that way, find a business that has no cap. Produce
Right.
your sales business so well that you can now
Mm-hmm.
take that money and put it into real estate. And that's my messaging with every person. Like when somebody interviews with me, I'm like, just so you know, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a lot about sales, but frankly, we're self-development and we're
Mm-hmm.
investors and we
Right.
provide world-class customer service. And those are kind of that's
Yeah.
my message. So some people are like, well, I just want to close a lot of deals and
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, that's great, but this may not be a fit because I'm gonna be on you. Like when I do my one-on-ones, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, how was your wake up this week? How are your
Yeah.
workouts? Are you reading and
Mhm.
reflecting? Those
Mhm.
type of things. And so with the agents, they're producing, they're investing in real
Mhm.
estate. Uh, we talk about just a little bit more into the creative financing thing. So, like on one of our deals that came in yesterday, it was a seller finance deal. I've done one of my I own a with another gentleman. I have a post office that I own, right? That and
Okay.
another
Mhm.
property that's on seller finance, and we've done 10, probably 20, 30 deals on seller finance. A lot of people have done it. Some people have done zero. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But just knowing how to creatively put opportunities together not only helps your sales business, but it also helps you be a asset not only to yourself but to others because
Right.
you look at things differently. Now you're just producing a different value because you've invested time into being your best self, physically, mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally, but into your skill sets. Your mindset, skill set, and discipline is just different. And
Yeah.
so as we've kind of pushed that with the agents, I think Brandon on my team, that works with me, I mean, he closed over 40 deals last year.
Nice. Yeah.
And so he's producing at a high level. And again, we're boutique. I mean, we
Mhm.
kind of went through the of having a ton of agents. We went
Mhm.
smaller, we did a little bit more.
Mhm.
Frankly, I like doing deals. I enjoy doing deals. I do enjoy the coaching and training, so I do like doing
Mhm.
that. That is part. I just feel like for I don't know. Sometimes you just have a little bit of a. I always say like listen to yourself, right? And so I had this
Mhm.
like, man, I kind of want to just like help these guys see the value that I've seen. And so I think we
Mhm.
go through different seasons. But I am working on some bigger projects also. So
Mhm.
I do tend to do a lot of our luxury deals and commercial deals, as well as our development projects. And then, we do have our property management part that manages the properties. The agents are
Yeah.
working hard. They're doing deals. They're doing higher volume. But again, the goal, produce high income so that you can
Yep.
have an investment business so that that investment business is throwing off so much cash flow that it's like, if you want to keep working, great. Otherwise, just keep compounding it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, one of the things I want to touch on is I understand you've written a book called Winning
Yeah.
Real Estate. And is that in publication? People can get it
Yeah, it
on
was in
Amazon?
publication. So what it was, I was a co-author in that book. What happened was is Realogy, which has the multiple, the Better Homes and Gardens, Century 21, Sotheby's, the umbrella. They picked
Mhm.
one person from every brokerage to write a chapter, right? And a
Nice.
lot of the stuff that I kind of talked about in that is kind of creating a business that allows you
Hmm.
the ability to step aside and and
Hmm.
and again, not to step aside so that you can go vacation, step aside so that your attention can be on business building activities, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be you want to serve others, whether why you want to buy, invest into real estate, you know, and so, I would just say yeah, definitely if you want to look at that book, it's a great book. My
Hmm.
chapters, well, I don't know, 15, 20 pages. Uh,
Hmm.
if you're following a journey, follow me on Instagram at justinudy.com. I think
Okay.
that's a great way you can kind of see what we're doing and how we're doing it. But I'm always in my stories just talking through like, hey,
Yeah.
just like today, it's like, hey, we just went through this property. This is the deal. This thing's going to be tore down in 18 months. Should we invest the money into it? Should we not? Here's the numbers we're running, and it just kind of helps, like, I don't know, a lot of the people in my peers in my market are like, man, I really like how you document your day because it's like nobody's really telling us, like, people have those problems. They don't ever talk about it. They only talk about, oh, we got all this cash flow and we have all this money and we just made all this money, as opposed to, hey, guess what? We just found a foundation problem and it's going to cost us 10 grand and
Hmm.
it's gonna be okay, but this is the things you got to plan for, and this is how we plan for it already. And you know what I mean? It just makes people I think your perspective. I mean, if as a person, whoever's listening to this, just know your perspective is so valuable to people because you've
Hmm.
lived a certain way, and if you can share that with them, I mean, I think that's why we're here, right? Like, be the best person you can so that you can, give that person away. So
Yeah. Well, the reality is in real estate, particularly in real estate brokerages, you have to learn that it's a relationship business. And when you really embrace that, everything else kind of falls into place. Because if you have healthy relationships, it's probably because you're a healthy person yourself. And I mean, like in all aspects, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and you definitely demonstrate that. So I'm sure the people you attract to your team, it's easy for them to want to, learn that model, develop those habits, and then as an extension of that, now you're serving the outside community. And that's really what it's all about. I love the quote from Zig Ziglar. If you just simply help enough other people get what they want, you'll be able to get plenty of what you want. In our business, obviously, we're serving others. So if we serve first, if we come from contribution and educate, inform, consult with them. And in fact, if you look at most the NAR code of ethics in your local boards and the state levels, somewhere in there it'll have the verbiage that you advise and consult with your consumers. It never says you guarantee you're going to sell their house, although that's a great marketing campaign. We've done that too, but the reality is what you tell them contractually is you're going to market their house for sale. And in that, within a construct, you're serving, advising, consulting are all service words. And when you get that, all of a sudden you become an attractor. You're not chasing business. Business is finding you, and your reputation spreads. And I think with you having a chapter in that book is probably helping in a large way in that regard. So we just got another minute left here, but I want to go over this. So the website is justinudy.com. That's right.
yep,
So
justinudy.com, like JUSTINUDY. So justinudy.com.
yeah,
Instagram's the same, Facebook's the same,
yeah,
so the good thing is it's easy to find that little short letter last name, it's pretty
yeah.
easy.
There you
Uh,
go. I like it.
so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to find. But yeah, happy to
Yeah.
connect with anybody. And again, just message me on Instagram. I there's a lot of folks that just have questions on little things, and
Hmm.
sometimes I got perspective. Sometimes I'm like, I have no freaking clue, and I can push you
Yeah.
towards a book. Push it. I mean, that's the thing about us, right? We're constantly learning, constantly growing, and
Hmm.
sometimes it sounds like we have it together, but it's like there's always breakdowns. You know what I mean? There's always
Oh yeah.
problems. right? But it's just like
Absolutely.
breakdowns or breakthroughs. We're always being
Yeah.
tested. We're always just trying to level up. And the journey's just one of those of just keeping and going. And the more you do
Yeah.
it, I think the better you get. And the better you get, the more you can help others. But that I do think I like what you said about with the agents, because it's like the moment you start thinking about how can I get money out of this deal, as opposed to, hey, how can I even just serve this person? It's just
Yeah.
the over time you'll have people. I mean, there is funny. There was a
Yeah.
lady that walked into the office, which is rare. Like nobody even walks into the office ever. And it's funny. And she came in with like just a manila, just not a notebook, but a folder. And it
Huh?
had like stacked with my newsletters that I send out every quarter. And it was
Hmm.
just from a cold call and staying in contact and her having random questions, just like, hey, I'm ready to list, And I will say
Nice.
this that happens. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it happened. And then I started thinking, I'm like, wait, that happened with her. And that happened with this
Hmm.
guy. And that happened with this guy. And then there was this person, because all you were doing is just like, hey, I just want to try to help you, And then
Yeah.
it just circles back. So I
Yeah.
think that as industry people and people that the more we do that type of a business, I think we'll
Yeah.
elevate the business. It won't be viewed
Oh
maybe
yeah.
the way, because if they say, man, these guys are true pros, I just feel that this business is such a great
Right.
business that way. And if we operate that way and we operate our business in a different frequency, how we do our lives, like people will
Yeah.
start changing the perception of our business and how they evaluate it.
You got it. So for everybody listening here, you just heard it right for the man, Justin Udy. Remember JustinUdy.com, Salt Lake City. If you're from out of the state or out of the country and you're interested, please go to the website, look him up. And I just went to the website myself. You can easily contact him there and his team members. For all the agents out there, I suggest you get the book, Winning Real Estate.
Yeah.
Particularly look at Justin's chapter and learn from one of the pros. I mean, they don't just pick anybody to write a chapter in that book. So, yeah. So keep that in mind. And thank you all for listening. Thank you, Justin, for contributing so much gold today. And God bless all of you. We will see you on the next Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cash Flow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.